Welcome back. This channel exists because of your support. Subscribe, hit like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Now let's get into the story. I never imagined our 7th anniversary dinner would be the night my marriage ended, but that's exactly what happened. My wife Melissa and I were celebrating at the French Room, an upscale restaurant in downtown Dallas. She'd reserved a private dining room for 18 of our closest family and friends. The space had dark wood paneling, crystal chandeliers, and floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. White tablecloths, expensive china, champagne flowing freely. It should have been perfect. I was sitting beside Melissa at the head of the table, working my way through a perfectly cooked steak, when her brother Kyle stood up with his glass raised. "I've got some news to share," he said, grinning. "I just accepted a VP position at a tech startup in Austin. Equity package, the whole deal." Everyone erupted in congratulations. Questions flew across the table about salary, stock options, when he was moving. Kyle soaked it all in, clearly enjoying the attention. I was genuinely happy for him. He'd been grinding away in middle management for years. Then Melissa's sister Jennifer turned to me. "What about you, Greg? How's the career going? Still at DataBridge Solutions?" Before I could answer, Melissa jumped in. "Oh, Greg's perfectly happy where he is. Aren't you, honey?" There was something sharp in her tone, like she was making a point rather than asking a question. I kept my voice neutral. "The work is solid. Good team." Jennifer wouldn't let it drop. "Didn't you mention something about recruiters reaching out? Or was that someone else? I remember you saying something about Amazon or Microsoft." Melissa laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, that. He gets those LinkedIn messages all the time. Everyone does. They don't mean anything." I felt my jaw tighten. That wasn't accurate, and she had no idea. They were actual interviews. 3 different companies over the last 2 years. Final round offers. The table went quiet. Forks stopped moving. Melissa's face changed, confusion flickering across it. She hadn't known about this. Her father Robert leaned forward from across the table. "You had offers and didn't take them?" Melissa recovered quickly, going on the offensive. "Because they would have meant relocating. Uprooting our entire life. I have my career here. Our families are here. Greg knew those weren't realistic options." I set down my fork slowly. "We never discussed them. I turned them down before telling you." "Because you knew what I'd say," Melissa shot back, her voice rising. "You knew I wasn't going to drop everything I've built here to follow you across the country on some pipe dream." "They weren't pipe dreams," I said quietly. "They were senior director positions. One was at Google, another at Salesforce. The third was Amazon Web Services." Melissa pushed her chair back and stood up. The entire table was watching now. Her mother Patricia tried to intervene. "Melissa, sweetheart, maybe we should talk about this later." Melissa ignored her, pointing at me. "You want everyone here to feel sorry for you? Poor Greg, making sacrifices for his wife? You turned down those offers because you were scared. Scared you'd fail. Scared you'd be exposed as not as good as you think you are." My face felt hot. I could feel everyone staring. My mother looked horrified. My brother Scott had stopped eating entirely. "You hide behind this relationship," Melissa continued, her voice filling the room. "Behind me. You use us as an excuse for your own fear. You know what your problem is? You're comfortable being average. You'd rather play it safe here than take a risk and prove yourself." I opened my mouth, then closed it. What was there to say? She'd just told everyone at this table that I was weak, that I was afraid, that I couldn't succeed without her safety net. She leaned back slightly, arms crossed. "Go ahead and leave. Walk out that door right now. Accept one of those offers if they're so real. You'll come crawling back within a month, maybe sooner, begging me to take you back. Because we both know you need this. You need me. More than I've ever needed you." The silence that followed was suffocating. Even the waiter had retreated to the corner of the room. I stood up slowly. My chair scraped against the floor, loud in the quiet. "Where are you going?" Melissa asked, her tone almost bored. I pulled out my wallet and placed $200 on the table. Enough to cover my portion of the meal, and then some. I looked at her parents. "Thank you for coming. Happy anniversary to us." Then I walked toward the exit. Behind me, I heard Melissa's voice. "Everyone sees it now. Running away. Just like I said." I didn't turn around. Didn't respond. Just kept walking through the restaurant, past the other diners who had definitely heard everything, and out into the warm Dallas night. My hands were shaking when I got to my Honda Accord in the parking garage. Not from anger. From clarity. She thought I needed her. Thought I was too weak, too scared, too comfortable to survive on my own. She'd said it in front of both our families, our friends, on the night we were supposed to be celebrating 7 years together. I started the engine and drove. Not home. Not to our house in Richardson. I drove to the first extended stay hotel I could find off the highway. A Candlewood Suites in North Dallas. The lobby smelled like cleaning products and stale coffee. How many nights? The desk clerk asked. 1 week to start, I said. Maybe longer. $89 a night. Weekly rate available if you want to commit. I'll pay week by week. The room was basic. Kitchenette with a 2-burner stove, sofa bed, small desk, bathroom. It would do. I sat on the edge of the bed and finally looked at my phone. 17 missed calls. I didn't check who they were from. Instead, I opened my laptop and logged into Gmail. I searched for the word offer in my sent folder. 3 emails appeared, all from the past 2 years. I'd saved them. Don't know why. Maybe part of me knew this day would come. The first email was from 8 months ago. Subject line, Senior Director Position, Salesforce. I'd written a polite decline, thanking them for the opportunity, but explaining that I wasn't in a position to relocate at this time. The role had been in San Francisco. 65% salary increase. Stock options. Full relocation package. The second email was from 14 months ago. Google. Technical Program Manager position in Seattle. 70% salary increase. Signing bonus. The recruiter had told me I was their top choice. I turned it down in a 3-sentence email. The third was from 22 months ago. Amazon Web Services. Principal Solutions Architect. Seattle again. 55% salary increase. Leading a team of 12 people. I did the math in my head. Combined, I turned down over $400,000 in salary increases. Over 2 years. For what? For someone who just told a room full of people I was too scared to make it on my own. My phone buzzed. Another call. I declined it without looking. I opened a new email window and stared at the blank screen for a full minute. Then I started typing. The email to Diana Everson, the Google recruiter, went out at 11:20 that night. I kept it simple. Told her my circumstances had changed. Asked if there were any similar opportunities available. Said I was now in a position to relocate. Hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I turned off my phone completely and tried to sleep. Didn't work. I spent most of the night staring at the ceiling, listening to trucks rumble past on the highway outside. Morning came too early. I turned my phone back on and found 34 new messages. I scrolled through them without opening most of them. Melissa's messages progressed through stages. Angry first. You're being ridiculous. Get back here. Then dismissive. Sleeping in a hotel? Really mature. Then confused. People are asking where you went. What am I supposed to tell them? Her family had joined in. Jennifer asking what happened, saying Melissa was really upset. Her father telling me to work it out, to handle it like a man. Kyle suggesting I just apologize and come home. My own family was different. My brother Scott just asked if I was okay. My mother wanted to know I was safe. That was it. No demands. No pressure. I deleted Melissa's family messages without responding. I texted my mother. I'm fine. Need some time. We'll call soon. I texted Scott. I'm good. Making some changes. Talk later. Everything else, I ignored. At 7:30 Sunday morning, my laptop chimed with an email notification. Diana Everson had responded. My heart rate picked up as I opened it. Gregory, great timing. We have an opening for senior TPM in our Seattle office that's actually a level above what we discussed last year. Leading cross-functional infrastructure projects, team of 8, significant scope increase. Are you available for a call this afternoon? I'm free at 2 p.m. Pacific. Best, Diana. I checked the time. 7:30 Dallas time was 5:30 in Seattle. She'd responded to my email in under an hour. On a Sunday morning. I wrote back immediately. 2 p.m. Pacific works perfectly. Looking forward to it. At 4 that afternoon Dallas time, I was on a video call with Diana and the hiring manager, a guy named Brian Hutchinson. The conversation lasted 45 minutes. We talked about the role, the team, the technical challenges. Brian was direct and easy to talk to. I'll be honest, Gregory, Brian said near the end of the call. When Diana told me you were interested again, I was surprised. You were our top choice last year. We ended up hiring someone who didn't work out. This role is bigger than what we offered before. L6 position instead of L5. More responsibility, more impact. but also more compensation. I'm ready for that level of scope, I said. My circumstances have changed, and I can fully commit to relocation now. Can you walk us through what's changed? Diana asked. I kept it vague. Personal situation has shifted. I'm no longer tied to Dallas. I'm prepared to move within 2 to 3 weeks if needed. That's perfect timing, Brian said. We need someone to start soon. The team's been without a lead for 6 weeks. What's your current compensation range? 142 base, 15% bonus potential, standard benefits. Brian didn't hesitate. This role is 235 base, 20% target bonus, full Google benefits package including stock refreshers, plus relocation assistance up to $25,000. I had to stop myself from reacting visibly. That was a massive jump. The base salary alone was a 66% increase. With the bonus and stock, total compensation would more than double. Stock alone would add another $80,000 annually. That's very competitive, I managed. I'm definitely interested. We can fast-track this, Diana said. I'll send over preliminary paperwork tonight. Can you do a full virtual interview panel on Tuesday? We'll want you to meet the rest of the team and Sandra, the engineering director. Absolutely. Great, Brian said. Consider this a strong preliminary conversation. We'll make it official after Tuesday's panel. After the call ended, I sat there for a long moment, letting it sink in. This was real. This was actually happening. The next 2 days were a blur of logistics. Monday morning, I went to Wells Fargo and withdrew half of our joint savings. $8,400. Not a fortune, but it was mine. I opened a new checking account at Chase and set up direct deposit to the new account. Monday afternoon, I went to the house in Richardson while Melissa was at work. I knew her schedule. She had standing meetings until 4 on Mondays. I packed 3 weeks' worth of clothes, my laptop, important documents, birth certificate, passport, college transcripts. I took the coffee maker because I'd bought it. I left my key on the kitchen counter with a note. I'll cover my half of rent through end of month. After that, you're on your own. Walking through that house one last time felt strange. For years we'd lived there. But I didn't feel sad. I felt relieved. Tuesday's virtual interview panel went better than expected. Besides Brian, I met 2 peer TPMs named Leslie and James, plus an engineering director named Sandra. We talked for 90 minutes about technical challenges, leadership approach, team dynamics. Sandra asked me about handling ambiguity. I gave her a detailed example from DataBridge about balancing competing priorities between engineering and sales. Leslie asked about maintaining team morale during difficult projects. I talked about transparency and letting teams help solve problems. At the end, Brian said, I don't think we need to drag this out. Diana, can you send over the offer letter? I'll have it ready by end of business today, Diana replied. That evening at 6:45, the email arrived. I read through it twice to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding. Position, Senior Technical Program Manager, L6. Location, Seattle, Washington. Base salary, $235,000. Target bonus, 20%, which was $47,000. Stock grant, $320,000 vested over 4 years, so $80,000 per year. Signing bonus, $15,000. Relocation, up to $25,000. Start date, 2 weeks from Monday. Total first-year compensation, approximately $377,000. My current total comp was around $163,000. This was a $214,000 increase, a 131% raise. I signed electronically and sent it back within 10 minutes. My phone rang. Melissa. I answered. Where are you? She asked. Still doesn't matter. Yes, it does. We need to talk about this. You can't just run away. I just accepted the Google offer. I start in 2 weeks. Seattle. Long silence. You're bluffing. Believe what you want. You can't do this. We have a lease. Bills. Commitments. I paid my half of this month. After that, it's your problem. This is because of what I said, isn't it? Her voice got sharp. You're trying to prove something. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm moving forward. You need me, whether you want to admit it or not. Guess we'll find out, I said, and hung up. Wednesday afternoon, I walked into a T-Mobile store. The sales associate greeted me with a practiced smile. I need a new number, I said. Complete change. Switching carriers or staying with us? Staying. Just need a fresh start. She nodded like she'd heard it before. I understand. Happens more than you'd think. 20 minutes later, I walked out with a new number. I texted it only to my parents, Scott, and the HR contact at Google. Everyone else could find me if they really needed to. Or they couldn't. I was fine with either. The next few days, my old phone exploded with messages. I only checked it once out of curiosity. Melissa's messages evolved. Wednesday morning. You're making a huge mistake. Call me. Wednesday night. I talked to a lawyer. If you want a divorce, we can discuss it like adults. Thursday. Your mother called me. She's worried about you. Friday. Fine. Don't respond. But you owe me for rent and utilities. Her family chimed in too. Jennifer saying Melissa was devastated. Calling it extreme. Her father Robert telling me to face this like a man. Her mother Patricia saying we were perfect together. Not one of them asked what Melissa had said to me. Not one acknowledged the public humiliation. Everyone focused on my abandonment. I deleted every message. I gave notice at DataBridge on Monday morning. My manager Brenda looked surprised but supportive. Google Seattle? That's a great opportunity. We'll miss you, but congratulations. I worked my full 2 weeks, documenting everything for whoever would take over my projects. Professional to the end. My last day was a Friday 2 weeks later. Saturday morning, I loaded my Honda Accord with everything I owned. 2 suitcases, a box of documents, the coffee maker, hanging clothes in the back seat, my laptop bag. That was it. Everything that mattered fit in one car. I drove past the house in Richardson one last time. Melissa's white Audi was in the driveway. I didn't slow down, just kept driving. 2,100 miles to Seattle. I broke it into 3 days. Dallas to Albuquerque the first day, 640 miles. Albuquerque to Boise the second, 950 miles. Boise to Seattle the third, 510 miles. Budget hotels each night, $75 to $90. Fast food meals. Podcasts and music. No social media. No phone calls. Just me and the road and the future I was driving toward. I arrived in Seattle on a Monday evening. It was raining, which felt appropriate. The traffic on I-5 was terrible. The city was hillier than I expected. But when I saw the skyline, something in my chest loosened. This was really happening. I checked into an extended stay America in the Northgate neighborhood for $110 a night. Google would reimburse it. The room overlooked a parking lot and a bus stop. I could hear traffic from Aurora Avenue. It wasn't much, but it was mine. Tuesday morning, I showed up at the Google Fremont building at 8 sharp. The campus was modern, all glass and steel, multiple buildings with the Google logo out front. Free breakfast in the micro kitchen. Standing desks. Windows everywhere. Brian met me in the lobby. Welcome. Let's get you set up. The first day was orientation. Badge and access setup. Laptop and equipment. Meeting the team. Lunch with Brian and Leslie. Everyone was friendly. Professional, but not stuffy. The kind of environment where people actually seemed to enjoy being there. Leslie, one of the peer TPMs, was in her 40s and had been at Google for 6 years. You'll like it here, she told me over lunch. Good problems to solve, smart people, and they actually listened to TPMs. James Park, the other peer TPM, had transferred from California 6 months ago. If you need housing tips, let me know. Happy to help. Sandra Mitchell, the engineering director, was matter-of-fact and direct. Your first project is coordinating the Q2 infrastructure upgrade. It's messy right now. Multiple stakeholders, competing priorities. Right in your wheelhouse based on your interview. When do I start? I asked. Tomorrow soon enough? Perfect. By Thursday evening, I was apartment hunting with James. He'd offered to show me around, save me some time. Avoid downtown unless you like noise and expense, he said. Fremont's cool, but pricey. Greenwood is nice, family-oriented. Ballard has a good food scene. Northgate is practical. We looked at 3 places. I chose a 1-bedroom in Northgate for $19.50 a month. Near the light rail station. Quiet building. 15-minute commute. On my old salary, that would have been tight. On my new salary, it was easy. You seem pretty calm for someone who just moved across the country, James said on the drive back. It's been a weird couple weeks. Job change or life change? Both. Marriage ended, and I took this job in the same 2-week period. James whistled. That's intense. Sorry about the divorce. Don't be. It needed to happen. Well, if you need people to hang out with while you get settled, let me know. My wife and I do trivia on Thursdays. I'd like that. 2 weeks after starting, I got my first paycheck. The direct deposit notification came through while I was at my desk. I pulled up my banking app. Expected amount, around $6,700 after taxes and benefits. Actual deposit, $66.92 and 18 cents. Still almost double what I used to make in an entire month. I stared at the number for a full minute. My account balance showed over $15,000. I paid first month's rent and deposit for the apartment, $3,900. Paid off my remaining credit card balance, $1,200. Transferred $4,000 to savings. Still had over $4,600 in checking. More financial breathing room than I'd had in years. I texted Scott. Just got first Google paycheck. This was the right move. Proud of you, man. How's Seattle? Rainy, but good. Work was challenging in the best way. The Q2 infrastructure project was behind schedule when I took it over. For engineering teams with competing priorities, I spent 3 weeks mapping dependencies, identifying the critical path, negotiating trade-offs. Weekly alignment meetings with tight agendas and required decisions. After 3 weeks, Sandra called a status meeting. The infrastructure project is running smoother than it has in months, she said. What changed? One of the engineering leads, Derek, spoke up. Greg actually gets everyone in a room and makes us talk to each other. Simple, but effective. Brian nodded. This is exactly what we needed. Nice work. That afternoon, Brian sent me an email. Gregory, wanted to flag that Sandra and I discussed your performance. You're exceeding expectations for a new hire. Keep this up and we'll talk about scope expansion at your 6-month review. It felt good to be recognized. Felt better to be competent. Felt best to not have someone at home telling me I was average. 5 weeks into Seattle life, I went to my first trivia night with James and his wife Kelly. We met at a pub in Ballard. Our team name was Google It. We came in third. You're good at this, Kelly said. She was a teacher, early 30s, easy to talk to. How do you know so much random trivia? Used to do this in college. Haven't played in years. You should come every week. We need the help. Other social activities developed naturally. Weekend hikes with Leslie. Pick up basketball with Brian and some other guys from work. Coffee with various team members. Normal stuff. Good stuff. On a Saturday hike up Rattlesnake Ledge, Leslie asked if she could ask a personal question. Sure, I said. You moved here right after a divorce, right? Yeah. 2-week gap between signing papers and starting here. That's fast. You doing okay? Honestly, better than I've been in years. I forgot what it felt like to just exist without someone keeping score. Leslie nodded. I went through something similar 5 years ago. Ex-husband needed me to be smaller so he could feel bigger. Took me too long to leave. How long is too long? Any time after you realize it's happening. We hiked in comfortable silence after that. The following Monday, I met with a divorce attorney named Thomas Peterson. His office was in downtown Seattle, straightforward and professional. The consultation lasted 30 minutes. Texas is a community property state, but since you're filing here in Washington and you've already split your savings, this should be clean, he said. No kids, no shared property, both working professionals. I'll file the petition this week. What's the timeline? I asked. 6 to 8 months for uncontested. Could be longer if she fights it, but based on what you're telling me, she doesn't have much ground to stand on. I paid the retainer. $3,500. Worth every penny for peace of mind. 6 weeks after I left Dallas, I got an email at my work address. From Jennifer, Melissa's sister. Subject line: please read this. Greg, I know you probably don't want to hear from any of us, but I need to tell you something. Melissa lost her job 2 weeks ago. Her company downsized the marketing department. She's been a mess. Barely eating, not sleeping. She won't admit it, but she knows she screwed up at the anniversary dinner. I think she's waiting for you to reach out. I'm not asking you to get back together. Just thought you should know she's struggling. Jennifer. I read it twice. Part of me felt bad. 7 years together. You don't just stop caring overnight. But the part that remembered sitting at that dinner table while she told everyone I was weak and pathetic felt nothing. I showed the email to Leslie over coffee the next day. Are you going to respond? She asked. No. Good. Her sister wants you to feel guilty. Don't take the bait. Part of me feels bad. That means you're a decent person. But feeling bad doesn't mean you owe her anything. 4 months into the job, Brian and Sandra called me into a meeting. We're not waiting for your 6-month review, Brian said. We want to talk about your trajectory here. Sandra leaned forward. You've delivered on every project. Your team likes you. Cross-functional partners specifically ask for you. That doesn't happen with new hires. We're expanding the TPM organization, Brian continued, creating a senior staff TPM role, managing other TPMs, setting org-wide strategy. It's L7. That's a significant jump, I said. You're ready for it, Sandra said. I wouldn't offer if I didn't think so. It comes with a compensation adjustment. About 18% base increase, plus refreshed stock grant. You'd start in January. The new numbers, base of $277,000. Stock refresh of $400,000 over 4 years, meaning an additional $100,000 per year. Target bonus of 25%. Including my existing stock grants still vesting, my total compensation package would be around $520,000 annually. I accept, I said. Sandra smiled. That was fast. I know what I want. This is it. 5 months after leaving Dallas, on a Tuesday afternoon, I was returning from lunch when the receptionist stopped me. Excuse me, Gregory? There's someone here to see you. Says she's your wife? My stomach dropped. Ex-wife. Tell her I'm unavailable. I did. She insisted it was important. She's been waiting for an hour. I turned and saw Melissa sitting in the lobby seating area. She looked different. Lost weight, dark circles under her eyes, hair less styled than usual, wearing jeans and a plain sweater instead of her usual polished look. She saw me and stood. Greg, please, just 5 minutes. I kept my voice low, aware of Google employees around us. How did you find me? LinkedIn shows your company. I flew in this morning. You flew to Seattle? I needed to see you. You won't answer calls or emails. Because we have nothing to discuss. We're getting divorced. Can we please talk somewhere private? No. Whatever you need to say it here or leave. She glanced around. Several Google employees were pretending not to watch. I made a mistake, she said, her voice cracking. At the dinner. With everything I said. I was wrong. Okay. Apology noted. You can leave now. That's it. I fly across the country and you give me 30 seconds? I didn't ask you to come here. I didn't ask you to do anything. You need to leave. Her voice got louder. I lost my job. I'm barely scraping by. Jennifer told you. That's not my problem. We were married for 7 years. You owe me. I owe you nothing. You made it very clear at our anniversary dinner what you thought of me. I'm just living up to your expectations. Her face flushed. So this is revenge? You're punishing me? I'm living my life. You're not in it anymore. You've changed. This isn't who you are. You're right. I'm not the guy who let you walk all over him anymore. That guy's gone. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. Can you call security? I said to the receptionist. The receptionist picked up the phone. A security guard appeared from a side hallway. Ma'am, I need you to come with me, he said professionally. Melissa's eyes went wide. You're calling security on me? You were asked to leave. You refused. This is insane. I'm his wife. Ex-wife. And you're trespassing. The guard gently but firmly escorted her toward the exit. She looked at me one last time. You'll regret this. When this all falls apart and you're alone, don't come looking for me. I won't, I said. After she was gone, Brian appeared from the hallway. He'd seen the whole thing. You okay? He asked quietly. Yeah. Sorry about that. Don't be. You handled it professionally. Take a break if you need one. I'm fine. Just need a minute. I went to the bathroom and splashed water on my face. My hands were shaking slightly from adrenaline. But I felt proud. The old me would have caved and talked to her. The new me had boundaries. That evening, Leslie messaged me. Coffee. We met in the micro kitchen. I heard what happened, she said. You good? Yeah. Weird day. She flew all the way here. Apparently. That's some desperation. Not my circus, not my monkeys, I said. Leslie smiled. For what it's worth, you handled it well. Old me would have caved. Old me would have too. Growth looks good on you. 8 months after leaving Dallas, I got an email from my lawyer. Thomas Peterson. Subject line, finalized. Gregory, good news. Divorce is finalized. Judge signed off this morning. Clean split as we discussed. No assets exchanged, no spousal support. You're officially single. Final invoice attached. Best of luck. I paid the invoice immediately. $6,200 total. Filed the divorce decree in a folder labeled Closed Chapters. I texted Scott. Divorce is final. How do you feel? Free. 1 year after the anniversary dinner, I was in my apartment on a Saturday evening, cooking dinner, teaching myself from YouTube videos. Claire was coming over in an hour. We'd been dating casually for 3 months. She worked in biotech, was funny and smart, and didn't need me to be anything other than myself. My phone rang. Unknown number. Usually I ignored these, but something made me answer. Greg? It's Robert. Melissa's father. How did you get this number? Called your brother. Asked him to pass it along. He said you'd probably ignore it, but I asked him to try. What do you want? Just to talk. 5 minutes. I waited. I owe you an apology, he said after a long pause. For what happened at the anniversary dinner. For what we let Melissa say to you. For how we all treated you after. Okay. I've thought about that night a lot this past year. What she said to you in front of everyone. How we all just sat there. How we blamed you for leaving instead of asking why. Why are you telling me this now? Because Melissa told me something last week. About all the jobs you turned down. The offers you declined. She didn't know about them when she said what she said, but she knows now. And you gave up hundreds of thousands of dollars. Career opportunities. All because you didn't want to disrupt her life. And she threw it in your face. Called you scared. Mediocre. That's all accurate. I just wanted you to know I know what you sacrificed. I know what kind of man you are. And I'm sorry we didn't see it then. I appreciate that. She asks about you sometimes. Melissa wants to know if you're doing okay. I am. Better than okay. Good. That's good. You deserve it. He paused. That's all I wanted to say. Take care of yourself, Greg. He hung up. I stood in my kitchen, wooden spoon in hand, sauce simmering on the stove. 1 year ago, I was sitting in an expensive restaurant being told I'd come crawling back within weeks. 1 year later, I had a senior role at Google making nearly $500,000 a year. New city, new friends, new life. Dating someone who respected me. No anxiety. No second guessing. No walking on eggshells. She'd been wrong about everything. The doorbell rang. Claire was here. I put the phone down and went to answer it. Later that evening, we were on my small balcony watching the Seattle skyline. What are you thinking about? Claire asked. Today's the anniversary. 1 year since my marriage ended. How does that feel? Like closing a book I should have finished years ago. Any regrets? I thought about it honestly. I regret not leaving sooner. I regret making myself smaller to make her comfortable. I regret turning down opportunities because I was afraid of what she'd say. But I don't regret leaving. Not for a second. We sat in comfortable silence. For what it's worth, Claire said, I'm glad you're here. In Seattle. Me too. We went back inside. My old phone was in a drawer somewhere, turned off. I didn't remember where I'd put it. Didn't need to. That part of my life was over. This part, this new chapter, was just beginning. And I was writing it myself. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.